Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when the narcissist doesn't matter anymore. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So when the narcissist doesn't matter to you anymore, this is a pivotal period of your life. It's a great place to be when the narcissist has become so small, they're microscopic. They're smaller than a mosquito flying around. They don't matter anymore. But to get there, you're gonna have to do a lot of things. First of all, you're gonna have to heal. You're gonna have to slow your life down and process things and understand that that relationship was something that almost took you down for the count, but it didn't, because you're here and you're getting the wisdom and you are coupling your experiences with the community's experiences, and you're understanding that it wasn't just you, that narcissism is prevalent all over the planet. You thought it was just you. You thought only you were experiencing the gaslighting, the stonewalling, the silent treatment, the rage fits, the financial abuse, etc. But no, there are hundreds of millions of us who've experienced this. It's just that we didn't know because we weren't supposed to figure it out. We didn't know that narcissism was all over the planet. But now you're understanding that the path is to go no contact with these people and to really slow down your life, to go in that cocoon of boundaries, to heal childhood wounds, to journal, to meditate, to see a therapist, to watch videos, to write, to understand that you are out of that relationship. It did not serve you back then. It won't serve you now, and it can't in the future, not only with that narcissistic person or those people, but with future narcissists that you perhaps may run into or encounter. You may run into the narcissist in the grocery store. They could be sitting right next to you on a plane. They could be sitting in the next cubicle or the next desk, sitting right next to you right now as you're consuming this video. But the whole point is understanding that your beautiful, bright, shining light, your energy, your aura, your soul, your essence, everything about you is what the narcissist wanted to take from you. And they achieved this, they accomplished this for a period of time, which was the length of the relationship. That's why when you were in the relationship, you lost your identity, you lost your sense of self, you became a shell of yourself, but more importantly, you became an extension of the narcissist. You were the unpaid helper. You were the walking apology. You were the walking ATM. You were the sounding board. You were the pawn, the puppet. You were being manipulated every way possible. And the narcissist knew this. They knew what they had done to you, essentially brainwashed you, and they knew that they were going to keep you trapped in that zombie-like, trance-like state, which is called the narcissistic fog, as long as they could possibly keep you there, or until your resources became so diminished and defunct that they would discard you. And then they would go on to a new source of supply, or a recycled source of supply. Somebody who didn't break the trauma bond, who didn't figure out what narcissism was, or a clean slate. Someone that just thought they just hit the jackpot and they just entered one of the best relationships ever. Well, it's quite the opposite. They just entered the most toxic, challenging, debilitating, life-threatening relationship they will ever enter, and that is the narcissistic relationship. But when the narcissist doesn't matter to you anymore, this will be a big part. Maybe you're there right now. If you are, drop comments below. If you're approaching there, understand that you still have work to do, and it's okay. But if this is the first video you're consuming, or one of the first ones, you need to understand that this is going to be a journey. It's going to be a marathon. It will not be a sprint. There is no magic wand or no magic pill that can be waved or consumed to get you through this. You need to go through the tunnel. And there will be dark days, there will be pitch black days, there will be moments when you don't want to wake up, there will be other moments when you don't want to go to work. At times you will gain weight, you will lose weight, your clarity will be anywhere but where it should be, because you're unpacking, unraveling, and getting away from the narcissistic relationship. This is the relationship you need to heal from. That is why these relationships are so debilitating, and that's why anybody who hasn't been in one, they can't wrap their head around what you are going through, and they get burned out, which means your support system or your family or friends, those people, they're one of three people. One is they're a toxic person themselves. Two, they are living in the everyday fog and they can't wrap their head around what's going on and what you experienced. Or three, they themselves are in the fog, in the narcissistic fog, and they don't know what's going on. And actually, I guess there could be a fourth person, but I'll share that in a later video. Having said all these things, when you really understand that the narcissist took their best shot at you, they financially abused you, verbally abused you, mentally abused you, emotionally abused you, and perhaps even physically abused you, and you had to live in the same household as the narcissist, probably, and you probably were holding your breath every time they would come home. Would it be Dr. Jekyll or would it be Mr. Hyde? Would you be punished for doing the dishes, but you left one fork in the sink that was uncleaned? Would you be punished for not vacuuming and not cleaning the bathrooms and not making the bed and not walking the dog and not doing something when they would open the front door? Would you be given the silent treatment because the narcissists themselves didn't get the supply they needed that day at work, so they would take it out on you, the built-in supply, the person who was living with them? You see, the narcissist abuses those that they're closest to. They abuse people that they know inside and out. They abuse people who fall in love with them or who do love with them. It's not the exterior people that the narcissist necessarily abuses, because these people don't get as close to the narcissist as you did. And the more the narcissist learned about you, the more they could weaponize all of the information that you shared with them against you today or at a later date. This is why the narcissistic relationship is one you need to run away from them as far as you possibly can. Run for the hills, get away from them, go no contact, etc. But when they finally don't matter to you, when they eventually don't matter to you, when they don't matter at all to you, that's when they will shrivel up and they will shrink and they will become smaller than a piece of dirt, a molecule of dust, if you will, and they can't do any more damage to you. You see, the damage was inflicted, it was done, and the narcissist really did think they would take you out for the count, but they didn't, because you picked yourself up by the bootstraps. You dusted yourself off and you healed, and you had challenging nights, sleepless nights. You couldn't understand the experience that you were going through because you weren't taught this in school. So you had to figure out eventually by researching on Google or YouTube that something was not only off, but this isn't the ending of a stable or healthy relationship. The ending of the narcissistic relationship, it usually ends with a thud, a crash, a bang. It is usually when they want to twist the knife inside of the person deeper and deeper, which is why the narcissist won't give you closure. And that's why there's so much drama surrounding the narcissist. And that's why they don't answer your phone calls. And that's why they won't do anything to help you heal when the relationship first ended, because they want to make sure that you are punished for being you. They want to make sure that you are punished for being in the relationship. And the narcissist needs to take it out on somebody. And who it was for a period of time was you. But my hope is that's no longer you. I'm hoping that you're out of the relationship. And if you have exited it, no matter how you did, that's a good thing. If you haven't, please, I strongly suggest you create, develop, and execute an exit plan. Maybe you can't get out of the relationship today. Maybe it's going to take you 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Well, stay focused. Know that where you are today is not where you want to be. And to get where you're going, you can't just wing it. You have to have a plan. And you need to keep that plan to yourself or with a trusted person who knows what they're doing. Because the narcissist has flying monkeys swarming all around you, whether you know it or not. And this includes people that think that they are free from the flying monkeys. Well, I just want to let you know one thing. Anybody who's been in a narcissistic relationship, even if they've relocated halfway around the world and rebuilt their lives, etc., the narcissist is very persistent at times, not all of them, but many times. And they will still have other people spying on your social media, doing the bidding for them and reporting back. That's why the narcissists themselves, or people they surround themselves with, flying monkeys, neighbors, etc., that's why they are not only minions, and they will be abused eventually one day, they're definitely being used, but they also will do the bidding for the narcissist and create fake accounts and try and engage with you and see what's going on. These are the games of the narcissist. This is how pathetic the narcissist is. This is how petty they are. This is how they believe that they're better than people. This is how they believe that they're above the law, that they're above the court system, that they're above any rules and regulations. What the narcissist doesn't know is that eventually everything catches up with them. They get older, they age, and not only that, but people see behind the mask. They see who this person is, and that the people that were doing the bidding for the narcissist, they too were chewed up and spit out. They too were taken advantage of. And it could be a bestie from 22 years. It could be your own child. It could be your mom, dad. It could be your sibling. It could be your romantic relationship. It could be a friend. The narcissist is everywhere. But when they finally don't matter to you, this is a beautiful thing. It's a great thing. It's a morning when you wake up and you go for your walk, or you meditate, or you journal, or you're living your best life, and the narcissist doesn't cross your mind, not even for a moment. And then that morning rolls into the afternoon, and then that afternoon rolls into the evening, and then you're brushing your teeth at night and you're getting ready to go to bed, and you're like, wow, I just went a whole day without thinking about the narcissist or any of that toxicity. I am really making progress. I am really improving. I'm really growing. Yes, yes, and yes. And this is the path. The reason why you're improving, growing, and healing, it's because you've placed so much work into yourself. and all the time and energy and resources that were going out the window to support the false narcissistic relationship and to pump up their fragile ego and to be doing things for them. All that energy, time, money, effort, everything, it goes back into you. And when it goes back into you, post-narcissistic relationship, this is when you have so much time to focus on yourself and to heal and to do all the things you need to do to get yourself where you want to be, which is where? It's at the pinnacle of indifference. It's at the mountaintop of indifference, where I am standing there waiting for you with open arms. And so many people who I've helped get there are also waiting for you. And we are reaching our hands down to try and pull you up, to get you across the bridge, to get you to the pinnacle of indifference. To get there, though, there will be challenges. And you will need to understand that each and every day you will have to take one day at a time. Sometimes you're going to have to take it minute by minute. And I don't say that lightly. If the relationship ended recently, you are certainly taking it minute by minute. And you're having sleepless nights, and you're ruminating, and you're blaming yourself, and you can't believe what happened and how did this go on so long, etc. But eventually the dust settles, the smoke lifts, the clarity returns, and you realize that that relationship was something you had to go through. There was no other way. If you think that you could have avoided it, you couldn't have, because history has shown that you went through it. You couldn't change the past. You can't change the past. You shouldn't predict the future. You should live in the present moment, the here and the now. And that's something the narcissist can't do. They live for the present moment, or for the moment. You live in the present moment. But as I'm mentioning, when they no longer matter to you, this is a good thing. It's when you can see a Hoover, let's say an email or a package being dropped off at your front door, or a letter in snail mail, or a text with somebody saying, "Hi, how are you?" Or you see something or experience something like that, and instead of freezing and panicking and being anxiety riddled, you're like, oh my gosh, this person is still trying to approach me. They are still trying to reach out and see if I'm interested in rekindling the relationship or where I am mentally. Well, yeah, that's how pathetic the narcissist is. One thing the narcissist doesn't do, usually, not always, but usually, is they don't want to let people go. Even if the relationship ended, if they ended it or if you ended it, the narcissist can sit around and look for other sources of supply for the next year, 2, 5, 10, 30, but they'll never find somebody as beautiful and abundant and strong and powerful as you. And they're learning this, they're realizing it, that you are an amazing human being. You are everything that they are not. So why I'm saying this is, at times the narcissist will Hoover. And when you've healed, and you've healed properly, and you get a Hoover, number one, you don't accept it. Number two, you will look at that Hoover and you will say, these people, what is with them? They all run on the same script. They're all in that same loop of misery. And now I see behind the mask. So this Hoover, whereas in the past perhaps it would have affected me, now I look at it as weak, as pathetic, as sad, as the narcissist can't escape their own mind because they can't. And whereas in the past that Hoover probably would have done some damage to you, probably would have set you back and left you reeling, which is what the narcissist wanted to accomplish with the Hoover. But when it no longer affects you, that's when the narcissist no longer has any power or control over you. And you will get there if you understand all the tools that are provided for you on the channel, and if you apply all the wisdom that is provided for you in the community and on every video, the people's comments. Because we've all been through this cycle. We are all on the healing path, headed in the same direction, simply taking different footsteps. Maybe I'm in front of you, maybe you're behind me, maybe we're walking side by side, but we've all experienced the same toxicity from the dark energy source, the dark energy force. It just came at us or approached us in a different human vehicle, a different body, and they looked differently and spoke different languages, etc. But when you really understand that these people are shapeshifters and they don't care about anybody but themselves, and when you heal properly and you look at a Hoover as for what it really is, it's a feeble, weak attempt that used to hold power over you that now holds nothing. And you can look at that Hoover, you can receive that piece of mail from snail mail, a letter, and you can look at it and say, are you kidding me? It's been 5 years and you're still trying to reach out to me? So what do you do with that piece of mail that you receive? I'll tell you exactly what you do. You rip it up, you throw it in the bin, you don't read it, you do nothing. You don't hit return to sender, you don't want to give them supply. You don't open it, you don't read one word of it, because any word in that, it will be nothing but smoke and mirrors. It will be nothing but a feeble attempt to set you backwards. And again, in the past, that probably would have done some damage to you. Certainly it would have slowed your healing process, but now that's not what happens. Now what happens is you don't accept it, and you realize how weak and how cowardly the narcissist really is. So when they finally don't matter to you, it's a good thing. It means you've reached the pinnacle and you're there. And you're at a place where not only the narcissist cannot get to, but they never thought you would arrive there. And do they know it exists? Absolutely, they know it exists. But they will be dumbfounded in disbelief that you were the one that broke the chains, and you were the one that broke the 4 ties, the emotional ties, the financial ties, the physical ties, and the spiritual ties. But that's what you've done, or that's what you're doing. And that is why you are stronger than you know. That is why you don't quit. That is why you don't stop. You don't ever stop. That is why you have to go through the tunnel. You have to see the light at the end of the tunnel and realize where you are going to. As that light at the end of the tunnel gets bigger and bigger, you're actually going to you. You're going back home with the clarity returning, and you are going to enter the 3rd version of you, the strongest, most galvanized version of you known to humankind. Not everybody will get there. You will get there if you're persistent, if you're diligent, if you're resilient, committed, and you're full of the path. Meaning you stay on it, you don't sway off it, you don't accept a Hoover, you don't unblock, you don't pine for the narcissist. The rumination has gone away. You realize that they didn't love you, they can't love you, they don't love anybody, and they only care about themselves. When you wrap your head around all these things and so many more, then you really understand that the narcissist is the weak one. You have always had the power, you have always been the strong one, and when they don't matter to you any longer, then you can just look back in disbelief and say, how did I fall for that? How did I stay in it so long? How did I get out of it? And how did I get here? Well, it was the narcissistic relationship. It was the juggernaut, the behemoth that was meant to take you down for the count. But it didn't. It failed miserably, just like it always does eventually with anybody who applies the wisdom and anybody who wants to go on the healing path and break the chains of the narcissist and stop giving them chances after chances after chances. You see, you are the person with the power. It's not the narcissist. It's never been them. They manipulated you, and they had you either fall in love with them or give them so many chances that you became accustomed to the push-pull and the high-low, and you wanted to help them, and you wanted to improve their life, and you fell for the victim card, etc. But all that goes away. It all dissipates over time once you go no contact, etc. Once you heal and you reach the pinnacle. When you do these things, your life changes, your health returns, your finances return, your love interest can be rebuilt or restored, or with a former person, not the narcissist, with someone perhaps that's healthy, that maybe you had a crush on in the past, or they had a crush on you. Or you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book, or you can build friendships. You can do whatever you want to do. Just do it without the narcissist or any toxic person in your life. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. And realize, again, where you are, if it's where you want to be, take a big deep breath in and say, this is great. I am fortunate to be out and away from the toxic people, i.e. the narcissists. I am healing, or I am slowing my life down, and I'm exactly where I want to be. If you're not where you want to be, you need to understand creating and developing an exit plan, or figuring out where you want to move to next in life is instrumental. It's imperative. That's what so many of us have had to do. And if this is the first video you're consuming, this is going to be a journey. It's going to be a marathon. It won't be a sprint. Stay on the path. Continue to focus on yourself, and continue to realize that the narcissist never cared about you. They just looked at what you provided for them, and they tried to take everything they could. So that's the video, everyone. I will let you know right now, from Bali to India, from Australia to Russia. I love you all. God bless you. Have a great afternoon, morning, evening. Continue to be the best person you possibly can. Continue to pay it forward if your cup is full, and continue on the path. I love you all. God bless you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.